Today, there is a training called social skills training. I want to share some aspects of that training with you. What is social skills training? It is a training to improve social skills. Many of us have social phobia. What does social phobia mean? We are afraid to attend big events. We constantly worry about what to wear, how to eat, how people will look at us. We feel uncomfortable talking to strangers. When we have to stand in front of a large classroom to teach, we get restless and anxious. When giving a presentation, our hands and feet shake, our words get stuck. We can't speak properly in front of people, we get nervous. These are what we call social phobia. I have made a video before about social anxiety disorder. For social anxiety disorder, social skills training is actually needed. Social skills training and medication are both necessary. I want to talk about some aspects of social skills training. The first thing is being assertive. What does assertive mean? Assertive means being able to express the thoughts, emotions, feelings, or needs you have in your mind to another person whom you want to communicate with, but you are unable to do so. This inability is your problem. You need to learn how to express these things or actually express them. That is what being assertive is. Another type of communication is passive communication. For example, someone asks you to do something, or you feel that it would be good if someone did this task, or if someone helped you in a certain way. But instead of telling them directly, you try to hint at it or say things like, if only someone would do this for me, or if only someone would help me like this. This is called passive communication. What happens if you communicate like this? Your feelings aren't being expressed, but the restlessness inside you just keeps growing. There's proof of that because you can't quite say what you want, you can't get things done the way you want, and maybe the other person doesn't even understand you. That's why we say communication needs to be active and open. You have to express your feelings clearly and beautifully without hurting or offending the other person. This could be with your boss, your wife, any family member, or your friends. For example, your friends say, let's go visit that place, but you don't feel like going. If you think, I don't mind going along with my friend's opinion, it's fine with me, I'm satisfied with whatever the group decides, then there's no problem. But if you really don't want to go, yet you still go along, you might end up feeling worse. Try expressing your opinion nicely. See what happens after you share your thoughts. Maybe your opinion will be the one everyone accepts. The way you present your opinion is what matters. If you can't present it well, that's your shortcoming. Practicing this back and forth is actually. Then, as you keep practicing this in different situations, over time you'll see that you're able to present yourself nicely. You'll be able to express your statements, opinions, and everything else clearly. It's very important to use the word, I think this way, or I want to say it like this, or what I mean is, maybe it shouldn't be like that. If you say it this way, it will probably work out better. Certain behaviors, however, can label you right away. For example, he's very short-tempered, or he speaks arrogantly, or he can't express himself properly. We advise you to avoid these kinds of behaviors. For instance, if someone says something to you that really makes you angry or you just can't accept it in any way, if at that moment you say to them, how could you even think like that? How could you do something like this? If you respond this way, the blame will fall on you and people will say, look how angry he got. Look at the way he spoke. What kind of person is he? But if instead you say, the way you're thinking, I feel that if we did it this way, wouldn't it be better? What do you think? If you say it this way, then the other person will actually listen to what you're saying. They won't label you as someone with a bad temper or someone who expresses themselves in a negative way. They won't say, he talks like this, that's just his personality. Instead, they'll say, okay, so when it comes to communication, it's about being assertive. You need to express your own thoughts. That's the first point in social skills training. The next topic is nonverbal communication. What is nonverbal communication? It means that besides what you say with your mouth, there are also certain body languages. These body languages are very important. For example, when you meet someone, greet them with a gentle smile. You're introducing yourself, but if you do it with a stern face or a forced smile, it's not the same. That doesn't look good. You need to smile a little, but that smile shouldn't be overly fake either. You'll see, as you practice, you'll be able to give a natural smile more often. When you meet someone, if you just sit quietly after introducing yourself, that's not right. You shouldn't try to hide yourself. After meeting someone, if you just sit there fiddling with your phone, that's not good either. After meeting someone, if you just sit down with a newspaper or don't even try to get to know them, that's not right either. You shouldn't do these things. Instead of trying to hide yourself, you should try to open up a little. So you can start with some small talk, like asking where their house is. Oh, you came from so far away? Or where's your office? What do you do? Things like that. So you can ask, how do you commute such a long distance to your office? How do you get from home to work? You can also talk about your own experiences. For example, it's really hot today, or looks like it might rain today, doesn't it? Then you can share a little about yourself too. If you're only listening to others, make sure to occasionally talk about yourself as well. You need to keep a balance between talking about yourself and listening to others, and you should be a good listener when someone else is speaking. At that time, don't interrupt them in the middle of their story to try to bring the focus back to yourself. Even though the doctor said you should talk about yourself too, when the other person is speaking, you should listen attentively. While listening, occasionally nod your head and ask small questions. If you don't understand something, you can ask, "Oh, is that how it is?" Or "What is that like?" Or "What does that mean?" By asking questions like this, the other person will feel that you are genuinely interested and really paying attention to what they're saying. And when you ask questions, many people who are socially anxious or afraid to ask questions, whether in class or anywhere else, if you do ask, you'll notice your mental stress decreases. The conversation also becomes more engaging. The other person will also become more interested in you, realizing, oh, they're really listening to me and trying to understand. They might even ask you questions in return. Often, when we're nervous, like during an exam, we tend to sit in a certain way in front of the teacher or the board. But people tend to sit like this automatically when they're tense. Or those who have social phobia, they sit even more awkwardly in a more intense way. But your teacher or your examiner doesn't want you to sit like that. Your examiner or teacher wants to see you as a confident person. When you sit in the chair, keep your neck, back, and head straight. That's the first thing. When you sit in a chair, learn to make eye contact when you talk to someone. But make eye contact in a way that's non-threatening. We call it non-threatening eye contact. Don't stare in a way that makes the person sitting across from you uncomfortable. Various studies say that during a conversation, you should maintain eye contact for about 60% of the time. That's considered effective. When you're talking, try to sit facing the other person. If your hands and feet are positioned in a way that looks like you're ready to get up and run away from the environment, or your legs are turned away, or you're sitting with your arms crossed, that's a kind of body language. When the person across from you sees that, they'll also feel uncomfortable, thinking you're not comfortable with them or don't want to talk. Or you'll come across as very lacking in confidence if you're sitting all hunched up and talking like that. But if you keep your feet, your hands, your body aligned with the other person and talk, you'll see your confidence increase. You'll look better too. And most importantly, you have to give up some habits. For example, when you're talking or asking for something, when you have a demand or want to express something, you're scratching your head a little or touching your nose while talking. These actions completely undermine your confidence. These habits make people around you see you as a very nervous person. You shouldn't do these things. State your needs straightforwardly and clearly. If you can't properly ask for what you want from a subordinate, a colleague, or anyone, it shows a lack of confidence. People can tell that maybe your request isn't reasonable, or you can't express how important it is. That's where your nonverbal communication, your body language, needs to be right to convey your point. And you need to learn to accept compliments. If someone compliments you and you turn red with embarrassment, that just shows your lack of confidence. When someone compliments you, accept it with a gentle smile and a thank you, and learn to compliment others. For people who have bad qualities, try to overlook those and try to take their good qualities. Compliment others just as you would like to be complimented yourself. If someone praises you, accept those compliments with a nice smile and humility. Learn to receive compliments graciously. So, the methods I've just discussed, these are all about nonverbal communication, that is, communicating without words. With these other forms of body language, you can improve your social skills. Active listening is very important, listening to others attentively and with your full attention. This is also an expression of your social skills. Many people have phone call anxiety. When the phone rings, they panic. Oh no, my boss is calling. What should I say? Should I answer? What do I say as soon as I pick up? You start to stumble over your words, unable to speak clearly, and you might even feel your heart racing and start to sweat. Usually, these calls come from someone in a high position, maybe a senior official or your immediate boss often calls you. Every time you face this problem, who is calling, what questions might they ask, and how should you approach them? Think in advance about how you will show respect to them. Plan these things ahead of time. This is what we call reappraisal, having an idea about the situation beforehand. If you can anticipate what they might say, what topics might come up, and what you will say in response, half of your anxiety will disappear. Another important thing related to this is role playing. What is role playing? Role playing means that if you are particularly anxious about someone, like if you're stressed about an exam, you can practice with your partner or some friends who are studying with you or preparing for job exams together. Make one of them the teacher and you become the student, or make someone the examiner and you play the role of the job candidate coming for the interview. They will keep asking you questions and you will keep answering. The more you practice and rehearse like this, the better you'll get. Even if you do this role play, you might notice that certain phone calls make you more anxious, so have someone call you repeatedly from a phone that triggers your anxiety. Through role play, you'll keep answering those same questions over and over. Eventually, you'll see that these things become second nature to you. Over time, you'll notice that this helps you overcome your social anxieties. And ultimately, the main point is that in those tasks or situations where you feel anxious, the ones that scare you the most, push yourself into those situations, keep pushing, and gradually learn by facing them little by little. Bit by bit, you'll notice that your inhibitions start to fade away. If you can't overcome your fears, if you keep locking yourself away inside your room, your problems will never get better. So go out there. But yes, things might go wrong, the situation might get bad. However, when you learn to handle tough situations, you'll see your confidence soar. You'll realize, yes, I can do it, I am doing it, and if I keep trying, I will succeed. That's it, nothing more. So that's basically social skills training. Many people ask how social skills training works. These are the basics. I've explained the basic things. Just accept these points and keep practicing them over and over. That's the main thing. If you treat these as a mantra, you'll see your social skills improve. Whether it's a job interview, giving a presentation, talking to people, or even speaking with your girlfriend, at first you might feel really awkward in all these situations. But you'll notice that gradually you're able to compose yourself better. Wishing everyone the best. Take care. Thank you.